We give it a nice run back. All right. So I'll give you guys a countdown here. 3, 2, 1, go. So, as you can see, my main form of attack isn't jumping on enemies, it's actually firing my limbs at enemies. If my limbs run into anything, such as shells or other enemies, then they instantly return to me. But if they run into nothing, then they slowly float back to me. Oops. In case you couldn't tell, it's kind of hard to tell just from watching, but the helicopter, and most vehicles actually for that matter, control like complete garbage. So you're really just fighting your D-pad. Okay, I got it. So another thing you'll see me do a couple of times there is sliding down slopes. You gain a little bit of momentum, and like right towards the end of a slope, you can get a lot of momentum, and then jump. And at the beginning of that stage, you're supposed to wait for one of these cradles to get across that gap. You can actually just slide and jump. Saves about 5 seconds. And another thing about sliding is, I mean, you can see if you look closely, and you'll definitely see in the next stage, hills are not like actual angles. It's just a bunch of little corners. So you're kind of dealing with that. If you're not like, if you're in a position where you're constantly hitting the upside of the corners, then like the incline, then you're not going to gain very much speed.
So what he's doing right here is waiting for the platform to cycle through a couple times, and then like the third loop back, it brings you up here, and hasn't really been explained yet, but certain fruit, if you hit it 3 times, it'll take you to a bonus chance, where like if you complete it in time and don't lose all your health, you warp so many amount of levels, some of them more significant than others. And not every fruit has that ability. It's pretty much just trial and error if you like never played the game before to figure out which ones actually warp you, because normally if you hit a fruit 3 times, it just explodes and is useless.
Yeah, and it's actually kind of cool. The fruits are like health pickups, and if you pick up a fruit without hitting it at all, it gives you like 2 health, 2 bars, and then it increases the amount of health it gives you as you hit it. But if you hit it 3 times, it either gives you a warp or it just explodes. So you'll see me later on in stages that are long and difficult. I'll hit the fruit twice to get back the most health that I can.
Also, the best part of the game coming up, Grandpappy.
Grandpappy, yeah, your computers are not broken. This is actually in black and white.
Well, they might be since I'm on the couch.
I want to take this time as well to shout out French runner Arius, who finally beat my time after I set a time right before AGDQ 2014 of 31:07 in this game, and nobody beat it until this past week. Actually, Arius got a 30:59 and then a 30:33, I want to say, and there's still more to cut off. He had like a 10-second mistake or something in the flea pit, so this game can definitely go even further, which is awesome. I'm glad that it's getting some activity again. And these stages are pretty straightforward, so if you want to read some donations, go for it.
Sure. We have a $5.02 donation from Nacho. Hi everyone, throwing a small donation to my friend Papa Downtown during his Plok run. I believe in you. You're gonna do great. Get that 30. Also, shoutouts to the staff, runners, and everyone who makes possible yet another great speedrunning event for a great cause. Here's hoping I can attend another one someday. P.S. Countdown? I told you I'd bop you in DQ3. Win sub 4. Much love to everyone. Nacho.
I was gonna say, man, congratulations on your PB, and very soon, very soon. Also coming up in this stage, I'm going to do a little strat that I took from the TAS, hopefully. Jumping the frame before I get the saw blade. And clipping through the floor. There we go. Easy.
Yeah, I don't know how you do that. I tried messing with it for a while. Originally, we were doing like something a little differently. We were like going a little bit further down and then like damage boosting off of this flower and like manipulating his bullets to fire in a very specific spot, and it's rough. But that saves, I don't know how much time it saves. It's quite a bit though.
Yeah, you have to walk pretty far to the right and then back to the left.
I think it's like 20 to 30 seconds or something. It's pretty significant.
So this is the first shell game warp. I have to collect all of the shells in all of the patterns without letting it go to the next pattern and missing a shell. If I get all the shells and before they switch patterns, then I get a warp.
Yeah, it's one of those bonus stages where you have to know where everything's going to be at because they give you no time for error.
Yeah, this one has a little bit of leeway, but the next one you'll see me do is pretty much impossible if you've never done it before. All right, so a couple more straightforward stages if you got some more donations.
All right, we have $15 from Sunset Law. Thank you, Countdown 42, for bringing Plok finally to SGDQ. The game's hard mode difficulty gave me nightmares as a kid, but I still love it to this day. Kill all the fleas and kill all the animals.
Agreed. Any donations towards Runner's Choice, by the way, go to killing the animals.
Hear that, guys? Countdown's bloodlust cannot be sated.
So there were saw blades behind those Rockefeller enemies, as they're called. So you could just like kind of walk through them and get the saw blade.
What sauce?
What sauce? You missed the best one. He worked past one stage where he gets the item, just says Gadzooks.
Yes.
We have $30 from 607. Yay, summer games done quick, or as according to my friend, Super Golden Duck Quivers. I am finally able to donate after all these years of enjoyment. I'm looking forward to Plok, which I haven't seen before, but seems fun.
That fun is one way to describe it, sure. Another way to describe it is, what were you thinking? So this is the Bobbins Bros. Whenever you hit them, they jump and they spit fingernails at you, and the object is to just not get bodied. 4 or 5 hits, depending on what I take a hit from, and I die. But that was a really good fight.
That was a good fight.
So I got another pretty decently long cutscene here.
Yeah, all the bosses in this game are pretty notoriously difficult.
Yeah.
But overall, the whole game's difficult.
We have $30 from Palamer6. Hey, SGDQ, this event is awesome. I'm really glad to see this game again after playing it for ages as a kid. Shoutouts to my friends at Grewine for giving me the best company ever in the past 2 years. This goes towards naming Link a Majora's Mask Schlarp.
Schlarp. So in the next stage, Plocktown, if you watch the SGDQ 2013 race, we actually played through that stage, but if you'll notice the PLOK in the top right, you see how I have PLO. It's actually perfectly set up so that you can, if you beat a stage without dying, you get a letter. And you can also collect little letter pickups in stages. So for whatever reason, getting a letter pickup in a stage sets the flag in the game that you've beaten the stage without dying. So in order to exit the stage without beating it, you just game over. So I got the continue. I'm just going to kill off all my extra lives, and then I don't have to play the stage. And the stage is about 2.5 minutes long, optimally. So, you know, why not?
Not every single stage gives you the pendant. So, like any stage he warps out of, he doesn't get a pendant. So he can even like die on those stages, and later in the game, that's actually like the fastest way to do it. But it's very, very difficult, but when the time comes, you'll see why.
Yeah, there's one warp in this game that's just particularly.
It's impossible.
It's unreasonable is a better way to describe it, I think. They just didn't give you enough time.
Yeah. Speaking of impossible, this boss is
Yeah.
terrible.
So the object is to hit these guys. You hit the drum, and it knocks them out of the air. And the you want to explain it? I don't want to.
So, yes, if you notice, like there are changes. If they move up and down far enough, you can just hit them out, like without doing this attack. But sometimes they arc around it just perfectly enough to avoid the spikes altogether. So they can make this fight much longer than it needs to be. And he damage boosted right there just so he can, you know, get some air time to hit him.
Yeah, you actually. So there's 2 different jumps in this game. B lets you just do a normal jump where you can fire your limbs while you're in the air, and A does a somersault where you cannot, but it's significantly higher than the jump. But if you take damage at the height of your somersault, then you're Plok again, and you're in a jump state, so you can fire your limbs. So the idea is to save all your health for the last, couple of guys that you can just damage boost and kill them.
Also, I'm not sure if we pointed out yet, but like these targets, anytime he hits it, he loses a limb and it grabs onto that hanger. So you have to go back and grab it. But there's one stage that's actually pretty unique. It like takes advantage of that.
Yeah.
It's that feature. But in this stage, he doesn't really need to get his limbs back because there's a warp in this stage too.
Yeah. And once you enter a warp, it refills all your health and gives you all of your lives back. So I clipped up here. I'm going to abuse the slope mechanic. And that saves about 2 seconds waiting for the elevator over there.
Yeah, so this is the other shell minigame. I can't remember if there were 2 or 3.
I think there's one more besides this.
Yeah.
And the one I did before. I'm going to talk about why I'm burning my shells, too.
Oh, yeah. So in the flashback with Grandpappy, he was just like looking for his amulet, and his amulet allows him to do the saw blade attack where you just push the bumper buttons, like alternate them, and Plok gets increasingly angry. And if you do it enough, he gets like the angriest face ever, and that just like increases your duration on the saw blade attack, and it hits enemies for every frame, I believe, and it's most effective on fleas. Normally how to get through stages is to defeat all the fleas before you can actually finish it.
Yeah, the last one has the gold flag. Okay.
Nice. This is actually a lot more. It's
incredibly stressful.
Yeah. He's making it look really easy, but like you get no time for errors. So
that last one made my heart sink a little bit. And that's not even the hardest one.
Yeah, so the fire rate on the water, if it's not just right, like he can get bounced back twice, and that's like just enough to make you not be able to get it.
Yeah. So this boss can go one of 2 ways, good or pretty terrible. I'm gonna do a little strat there. He's too high for me to jump and hit him there, but if you actually somersault while your limb is coming back to you, then you can like bait the limb into hitting him as it's returning if you're like above him and to the right.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky though, because you see like the more like limbs you destroy, which is just brutal, like he starts throwing more snot balls or whatever at you, so it's something you gotta be able to avoid.
Yeah.
You want to damage boost and hit him as many times as you can, but it's a tricky fight.
Yeah, I lost about 4 seconds because there was one double hit that I didn't get. He had 2 patterns, one where he goes straight from the top to the bottom and back up, or he goes bottom to middle, then down, or top to middle, then down and back up. And you can actually hit him twice when he's going straight from the top to the bottom and back up. And you just have to be
that's
you have to be precise about it, and I missed it. It loses about 4 seconds. Not a big deal. So this is the first stage where I actually have to kill all of the fleas to complete the game, or to complete the stage. The first stage, at least in this route. That's fine. Luckily, you can do that. That's the only one you can get a backup on, though.
Yeah, so like when he causes that explosion, you got like a very small window to jump through the explosion, and it saves a lot of time each time, because normally you'd have to hit this thing and then very slowly climb up.
Yeah, so it's really nice. I also like to mash the jump button on slopes, because they're not slopes, and then it makes a funny noise. It just makes a repeated jump sound. Oops.
The people ever getting through this stage for the first time, they will probably do what I did in the race and took a wrong direction, ended up making me have to intentionally die, because it's impossible to continue if you go a very specific route.
Yeah, there's actually a it's a neat little puzzle mechanic where, you know, some of the targets require either an arm or a leg and won't take both. Like, you need one of those. So if you haven't done it in the correct route, you haven't gotten your limbs back. Like for instance, right there, if I didn't have an arm, I wouldn't be able to get through here. But luckily, there's a couple of costumes in this stage, and Plok's costumes give you all of your arms, or all of your limbs back.
Unfortunately, we won't be able to see the best one that you just passed by, which is Deputy Plok.
Yeah, if this wasn't on like decent pace, I actually probably would have done it, but
yeah, this is good pace so far.
That was kind of a mistake. I forgot that right there. You only have the leg, so
yeah, you gotta be careful taking out fleas, because they have just enough health that, like, if you jump and land on them, sometimes you get hit. So in some cases, it's better just to hit them once and then saw blade them. Or if they jump, you want them to jump. That's the most optimal strategy.
Hang on. All right, that's the most crucial one.
Yeah, so if he would have went this way first,
I wouldn't have had arms for that.
Yeah, that's where they catch you.
Yeah, so the general strategy for killing fleas is hitting them once. They have 3 HP, so they turn from dark blue to light blue and then to green, and then they die. So the idea is to hit them once so that they turn to light blue, and then you can actually just saw blade them on the ground. If they're dark blue and you try and saw blade them on the ground, there's like a decent chance, unless your positioning is just right, that you'll take a hit from them and they'll stay green. You won't do all 3 damage. And that was a really, really good stage.
Yeah, that's one of the toughest stages for sure, especially like first time playing it.
So I abused a little mechanic where you have like a frame to jump at the beginning of the stage. Just saves a little bit of time there. So as you saw, those targets required my legs, and now I have to play through the first half of this stage on my torso. The controls are, oh no, this is bad.
Oh.
Okay, I have to just not take any more damage. So the idea is I'm just pressing forward and holding down to slide down slopes. And I did a little left right there.
Yeah, the slide in this stage is kind of weird. Like, your forward momentum is like so fast that like just holding back will just keep you in place.
Yeah, you'll stay in place, but you'll maintain your momentum. So the second you press forward again, you're still going really fast. It's hard to explain without actually, you actually doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I have to go back and kill fleas. I'm glad that I didn't take any more damage, because now I'm at full health.
That was almost really good.
Yeah, getting all 3 of those with that saw blade is a blessing for sure. Okay.
Yeah, getting them grouped up is just, you can't really manipulate them. They're way too erratic.
This is incredible luck.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that was why he hit all the eggs as he was passing through, because you have to wait for them to crack open.
Got it.
Nice.
So that skip there saves about 19 seconds. Damage boosting off of that spike and then jumping up to that top purple area.
Yeah, so those enemies drop a big gem that make you invincible, which is pretty much necessary to get through all this. You can damage boost, but you can only do it a couple times because the spikes do so much damage. And these guys, so you have to hit them twice within a certain time frame. Yeah.
I have enough health. I'm just going to leave.
Which doesn't sound bad until they decide to give them shields, and when you hit them in the back once, they turn around.
Yeah.
So you have to like, it's just stupid. Like you get these bees. I don't know if we mentioned that, but like there's a pickup you can get. It looks like a small beehive or something, and it allows you to like just launch these bees and they home on the enemies. They're really good.
Yeah. So that was a really good stage.
Yeah, that was really solid. So he picked up that flag. If you get the flag before you destroy all the enemies, you get a full health refill.
Yes. All right. So hardest warp in the game by far.
Yeah.
They give you no time, and you also have to like break a ton of walls with the bike cannon, which is garbage. Normally in an RTA, I'd be killing off all my extra lives in this stage to set up a game over warp for later because there's those rocks right at the beginning. But I'm not going to do that because I need as many lives as possible. All right, looking good.
Hitting these perfectly is like absolutely crucial.
Should be good. Gonna take a good luck damage boost
Nice.
there. Easy, every time.
So having any time remaining at all is actually a miracle.
Yeah, they actually like leave it on 0.0 for about 0.5 seconds more.
Yeah.
Just to like, because they felt bad, I guess.
Yeah, oddly enough, that's like the only one that does that. The other ones, it like ends immediately.
Yeah, the rest of them it seemed to end immediately.
Yeah, so there was quite a few stages skipped there, and a boss. One of the longest boss in the game, actually.
Yeah, it's essentially an auto-scroller.
Yeah, so now we're like in the area called the Flea Pit, and every stage has this vehicle you can get.
Yeah, the stage
Yeah.
is long, but I don't
Yeah.
want to play it, so I'm just going to zip under it. Nice, I got the
nice.
2 in a row. That's very difficult to do. The jetpack, the way it controls is just by you hold B to go up, and if you let go of B, you start falling. So in order to maintain height, you have to kind of tap it. And in order to zip under the seam of the level, you kind of have to maintain a certain height. So that was really good.
Yeah, throughout this, you only skip one Flea Pit stage, which is ironically the one with the best handling vehicle.
Yeah.
They get increasingly more difficult to use. Like this one. This is actually a really tough stage to get through. And there are fleas in these stages, but it's not necessary to kill them. They're actually called super fleas. They're like much stronger and more aggressive than regular fleas.
Yeah, they shoot projectiles, which do lots of damage. Everything that shoots a projectile in this game does more damage with its projectile than it does contact damage. Okay. Oh, hello.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we mentioned that either, about the shells. If you collect enough shells... Ooh.
It's fine. This is fine. We're fine. Everything is fine.
Nice.
That stage is total ass.
Yes, it is terrible. I can agree.
This place really smells.
Yeah, so if you get enough shells, you get a 1-up. It's actually the emblem in the middle, top middle. Once like it fills up with yellow, and then once it's all the way to the top, you get a 1-up. And that's actually what you use for your saw blade attack too. So that's why you just throw shells everywhere.
Yeah,
It's angry.
it's nice to like to be able to get rid of your shells so that you don't get an extra bonus block, because not only does it freeze the game for 4 seconds when you get the bonus block, but then you have to lose an extra life when you're doing the game over warp. So this stage is also dumb. I mean, I explained how earlier the helicopter is just a mess to control. Oh, okay, whatever. That's fine. That's plenty of health. I hope.
Yeah, so, yeah, there's these blocks right here, and I'm not sure exactly how it works, but like if you hit it just at the right momentum, you just kind of skip underneath it, because the vehicles, they look big, but the hitbox is only 1 pixel big. So you can kind of just tuck under anything and everything.
Yeah.
It's pretty fantastic.
Oof. Ooh.
Wow.
I'm so good at this game.
They are being really generous right now. This one's actually one of the hardest skips to get.
All right, I need to calm down. There we go.
Nice.
Also, I just want to mention to you, Mecha, that I noticed that the SNES is in kind of a precarious position between 2 of the risers. So try not to shift your feet.
I think you just jinxed it, but I will not move. Yeah, so the third one it's actually a little bit faster to go up, but there's a couple fleas in that route, so it's actually much safer just to take all 3 skips.
Yeah, the task like bounces out of the water and then just kind of damage boosts through.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There's fleas everywhere, but there's only one guy that's actually blocking your path, and you can just go right through him. He does 2 damage, contact damage. So, real rumblings. This is a stage. All
this
right.
is the worst stage in the game.
And guess what? We're not going to play it.
Yep.
So the same game over warp that I did in Plok Town, this stage takes about 4.5 minutes to complete optimally.
It is terrible.
And it is rough. So you know those rotating platforms? I have to break egg walls while riding the rotating platform with my tank, which has one pixel hitbox, a 1 pixel wide hitbox, which you kind of just have to guesstimate where it is. It's like right pretty much where Plok's body is in the tank, but a little bit to the right.
And you get knockback every time you shoot it, so you have to like reposition yourself
Yeah,
on the moving platform.
That's obnoxious.
It is horrible. So, fortunately, they conveniently put a Plot Continue emblem in this stage.
Right at the beginning.
Yep.
They knew.
And all the stars align perfectly to where like you get just enough. But yeah, I remember I found this out by complete accident one day, and I finally figured out what causes it. It's
Yeah, I'm pretty grateful for that, because
Yeah.
I remember when I first started running this game, I had to learn the tank stage, and then it was like before I got to the flea pit really in my learning that you guys had discovered it. So I was incredibly grateful, because man, it's something.
Yeah. One of the lead programmers, I asked him about it because he tweeted about it, or no, he linked it on his Facebook, our race.
Oh yeah.
And I asked him about the skip, and he's like, yeah, that was not intentional.
Oops.
Yeah. And they apologized about the motorcycle bonus stage.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, we messed up.
It's okay. It's okay. It can be overcome. So this is the last vehicle the UFO ironically controls the best.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like
It does. You press a D-pad. You press a D-pad direction, and it moves like 1 pixel in that direction. You know, like exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna shut up here and not die. Oof.
Fortunately, if he does die here, it's not the end of the world, because he doesn't have to worry about warps anymore, or Plot Continue warps.
Yeah, it's just a time loss at this point.
This is actually like one of the longest stages in the game, if you do it normally.
Or you could just do this.
But yeah, why would you do that? So yeah, that skips like 80% of the stage, and it's a really difficult one too.
So, we are coming into the final boss of the game, which is the Flea Queen. And it's pretty much an auto-scroller. She will birth a flea, or 2 fleas, or 3 fleas, or 4 fleas every cycle. And then once you kill all the fleas, then you can finally hit her, but you have to dodge all of her attacks while you're doing this. And not only that, but look, I'm not pressing any buttons. It's jumping automatically. So I have to fight that as well. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know how you didn't get hit by that.
I don't know. If you're a fan of shoot 'em ups, you might be a fan of Plok. There's lots of janky hitbox abuse and bullet dodging, at least in the later stages.
And if you're wondering why the music's so good, it's done by the legendary Tim Fallon.
Although I was reading today, his brother wrote the majority of the soundtrack.
Yeah,
so
yeah, his brother worked on it too, Jeff Fallon.
Yeah.
He actually had Shigeru Miyamoto thinking that this was like a modified sound chip.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah, he didn't know you can actually get this sound from just straight from the game.
Yeah, and I was reading they like to use a lot of like live instrument samples. And so what they did was some of the samples were actually chords themselves and not just single notes, so that they could have like an enhanced soundtrack, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
It's just a nice way to get around the SNES hardware limitations. Ooh, okay, we're fine. So I'm going to go ahead and say it now since I'm pretty much in the clear. I could have PB'd if I had done optimal strategies here. 3105, 3106, my PB's 3107, 3108, time. So if I had done the optimal suicide strategies, killing off my extra lives, you know, on the stages where it's fastest to do it instead of the stages where I do the game over warps, then that would have been a PB. And holy cow, what a run.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mecha.
Yeah.
Thank you,
No problem.
GDQ guys. And thank you, Pickford Bros and Fallen Bros for this game. It's, you know, it's pretty wonderful.
They were making comics. Steve Pickford is. He was a lead animation designer for this game. So you should look those up. They're pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah, I believe it's The Real Plok on Twitter, and they tweet
Yeah.
out, and they have a website and everything, and they do comics, I believe, weekly.
Yeah. Kind of carries on the story of Plok. So if you love this game, you should definitely check that out.
So much for being nervous, man.
Right?
Whew. All right, guys, thank you very much.